You ever wake up and realize your entire life just got hijacked by someone who thinks they're royalty? Because that's how this whole mess started for me, and I'm telling you right now, if you ever move into a neighborhood with an HOA, just keep your paperwork close and your enemies closer. So picture this. I walk out onto my porch, coffee in hand, ready for a peaceful morning of fishing at my own lake, right? But nope, there it is. A huge, shiny oak sign planted by the water bigger than my front door, announcing Tyler Peterson Memorial Lake. Gift from HOA President Victoria Peterson to the community. There's even a cartoon kid swimming, and in bright gold letters, it's all open to all community children. I just stood there, mouth open, coffee still steaming, trying to make sense of it. Was this real? Did I somehow die in my sleep? And as if on cue, I hear Tyler Victoria's son, local rich kid wannabe influencer, already live streaming from my lake, shouting, "Yo guys, welcome to Tyler's Lake. Mom just gifted it to me. Pool party this weekend." The comment section on his stream is going nuts. People begging to come swim, calling his mom a legend. Tyler's strutting around like a little king, explaining to the world that since his mom's the HOA president, she can just hand out private property like Halloween candy. I mean, what the hell are they teaching kids these days? So I go down there still in my slippers and ask him nicely at first to take the sign down and leave. Tyler barely looks up, waves his phone in my face and tells his viewers, "Oh look, the old guy who used to own this lake is upset. Don't worry, Mom handled all the legal stuff." Then, with all the confidence of a spoiled prince, he says, "My mom controls everything here. It's community property now. Progress, old man." And just like that, here comes Victoria strutting out of the trees in her business suit, perfect hair, fake designer bag and all. "Oh, David, good morning. I hope you slept well. Isn't this exciting? The community's getting lake access?" She acts like she's unveiling a new park, not stealing my land. I tell her point blank, "Vicky, this is my private property." She just tilts her head, gives me that bless your heart look, and starts talking HOA rules and the greater good like she's running for Congress. And if you think that's as crazy as it gets, hang on, she tries to explain that property rights in an HOA aren't as absolute as you think, and that community needs come first. Tyler, standing beside her like some backup dancer, keeps chiming in with, "Yeah, Mom explained it all. You can't stop progress. I tell them to take down the sign again." Victoria suddenly gets cold and says, "I'm afraid that's not possible. The decision's been made. If you're going to be hostile, I'll have to call the police." And that's exactly what she does. Calls 911 right in front of me, claims I'm threatening her and her son, that I'm dangerously preventing children from accessing their rightful lake. Tyler's looking confused, mouthing to her that nothing happened, but she hisses at him to be quiet. 10 minutes later, here comes Officer Martinez, all business. Victoria's right in his face, spinning her story. I show the officer my deed, my ID, everything. He reads the sign, checks the paperwork, and tells Victoria, "Ma'am, this is clearly Mr. Miller's private property. Unless you have legal documentation, you have to remove the sign." She sputters, but the officer isn't having it. After the cops leave, Vicky stands there, red-faced, spitting mad swears. "I'll regret this. You have no idea who you're dealing with," she says. "I run this community." Tyler's still clueless, probably wishing he'd just stayed home and played Xbox. They leave the sign out of pure spite, so I take it down myself, throw it in the garage, and pour myself another cup of coffee. That should have been the end of it, but if you've ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA, you know better. The next week, the real siege begins. Every day I get violation notices. Landscaping noncompliance, $500. Noise ordinance, $300 for frog and bird noises. Environmental hazard, $800 for a mosquito breeding ground. The wild vegetation, century-old trees. The noise, frogs and birds. I laugh, but it's a bitter laugh, because these fines pile up to $1, $600 before the week's out, all signed by Victoria Peterson, HOA president. Meanwhile, Tyler's on TikTok flaunting his new motorcycle luxury clothes, plush $200 t-shirts. "Thanks, Mom." Every post is like salt in the wound. He's living large off HOA money, bragging that his mom runs everything. Friday night, I sit in my dark kitchen stack of violation letters on the table and wonder, Should I just sell the ranch? Leave the lake behind and find peace somewhere with no HOA. But then I get an email from Charlotte, the HOA bookkeeper for 8 years. She's older, nervous, and desperate. David, I need to meet. Something's wrong with the finances. She shows up Saturday with shaking hands and a folder full of documents. Victoria's forcing me to approve weird expenses, she says. 30 grand this month for community improvements, but nothing's actually being done. She's terrified, says Vicky, threatened to have her prosecuted if she asks questions. She's planning a $50,000 lake remediation project. The company being paid is owned by her brother-in-law. I asked Charlotte about the original HOA charter. There's a budget manager position, someone with power to audit spending and freeze accounts. She barely remembers it, but I do. I dig out the dusty incorporation papers. Guess who's still listed as the official budget manager? Yours truly. Never used that power because I never needed to. Until now. Monday comes, and at the emergency HOA meeting, Victoria stands at the front, PowerPoint blazing, spinning a tale about environmental crises and urgent remediation. Fake testimonials, doctored lake photos, the works. She calls for a vote. Most people scared of liability go along. Charlotte processed the $50,000 transfer, she says. Charlotte tries it, bounces. Account frozen pending review, her laptop says. Victoria's mask cracks. She tries again, calls the bank on speaker, and the banker calmly announces, "Your budget manager froze the account for review. David Miller is listed as the authority." The room goes dead quiet. I step up, show the documents. Yep, I'm the budget manager, always have been. The neighbors start to whisper, then shout. "Who owns Peterson Environmental Solutions?" Charlotte says quietly. Victoria's brother-in-law. The room erupts. "Show us the other bids." She can't. "This is straight-up theft," people shout. I call for a vote of no confidence. Unanimous. Victoria's out and the police are called for a criminal investigation. She flees, dragging a stunned Tyler out with her. The neighbors are buzzing, angry, embarrassed, relieved. I promise to audit every penny. But Victoria's not done. She shows up at dawn, days later, screaming at Charlotte in the HOA office, trying to bully her into rewriting the records to show $30,000 in donations to a green community fund. The paperwork's fresh, registered last week. Charlotte's terrified, but says she'll follow procedure. Tyler, meanwhile, keeps posting his luxury lifestyle, motorcycle rides, designer clothes, expensive dinners, all thanks to Mom. It's social media gold for building my case. Saturday evening, Victoria drags everyone into a final mandatory community meeting, desperate to save face. She claims every dollar was for charity, flips through a fake slideshow, tries to browbeat the crowd. But people want receipts, proof she can't deliver. I stand up and project my findings. The charity was registered 4 days after the account froze. The money went straight to family, including $18,000 to Tyler, or $8,000 to fake environmental consulting, and the rest scattered among relatives. Tyler finally realizes on camera in front of everyone that his whole lifestyle was funded by stolen money. He breaks down, Victoria loses it, and the neighbors call for her arrest. Monday, cops swarm the community center. Victoria's barricaded herself in the HOA office, shredding documents accusing me of fraud. Officer Martinez asks for proof. I hand over my ID, the official documents, the recordings, and Charlotte confirms everything. Victoria tries to twist it, says I'm out for revenge, that the money was for the community. Tyler, sobbing, admits he believed it all came from a president's salary. The police arrest Victoria for embezzlement and fraud. She's led out in handcuffs, mascara running, still claiming it's all unfair. Tyler stands by me, shaking. What happens to me, he asks. I tell him he's young, he can make things right, but he's got to face the music. The community votes me in as interim president, and together we rebuild. Charlotte's now head of finances. Every transaction is transparent, and neighbors actually talk to each other for once. 3 months later, my lake's peaceful again. Every Saturday, I host coffee for anyone who wants to check on HOA business. Tyler's doing community service, humbler and more thoughtful. Victoria's house is for sale. She's banned from leadership, sentenced to pay restitution. You know, I never thought I'd find joy in HOA meetings, but there's something powerful about neighbors finally standing up for each other. A new sign by the water reads, Miller Ranch Lake. Community welcome by invitation. Sometimes folks fish, sometimes we just sit and watch the sunset. Tyler came by last week, asked, why didn't you just move away when Mom started this? I told him, because running never fixes anything. Sometimes you have to stand up and fight for what's right, even when it's ugly. You want to know if justice really won here, or if another power-hungry HOA Karen is lurking down the road? I don't know. But I do know this: sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who keeps the peace. And sometimes that's exactly what the show needs. Now it's your turn. Drop your take in the comments. Was justice served? Have you ever tangled with an HOA tyrant? Where's the line between community and control? Let's hear it.